Hey everyone, today we are looking at 2 Timothy chapters 1 and 2. 2 Timothy is obviously Paul's second letter to this young man that he has been mentoring and serving alongside with, who he is now tasked to lead the church in Ephesus after his departure. Paul is now in chains in Rome, and he's commissioned Timothy to sort of take over this role of leading the church and establishing new churches. And so this is a really personal letter that Paul has written to his disciple, who's now taking up his mantle. And chapters 1 and 2 basically just contain a bunch of instructions of what Paul thinks is important as a young man, the characteristics for a young man to have as he leads others to Christ. And one of the things that gets mentioned both in chapter 1 and chapter 2 is this succession of faith. What do I mean by that? Well, Paul mentions in chapter 1, verse 5, he says that I'm reminded, Timothy, of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you. He then goes on to say to continue to develop this faith, to grow in this thing that has been passed along to you by others. He then sort of continues this thought where in chapter 2, verse 1, he says, "Be strong in the grace that is in Jesus Christ. And the things that you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others." Again, Paul uses this sort of establishment of a faith that has been passed on from one generation to the next, in saying that just as I have taught you the truth about the gospel, and that's been instilled in you, I want you to then instill that to others, who will then pass it along to others, just like your grandmother passed it to your mother, who passed it to you. It's this legacy of faith. And the thing that I'm reminded of when we look at these verses, and Paul's other instructions here are very similar, that how important it is for us to not just guard the faith that's been passed down to us by others, but to share it and entrust that faith to those around us, that they might entrust that faith to others, who might entrust that faith to others forever and ever and ever. That this is actually the pattern of succession, the legacy of our faith. And so Paul again reminds Timothy that of those who have come before, who have believed and passed down a faith that he is to pass down. And this is again to a young leader in the church. And I think for me the thing that we are meant to meditate on as we look at this passage and this theme in particular is that something that we are doing? You might just rewind your brain back even a little bit to who are those people that mentored you? Who are those people that had this strong, vibrant faith, that shared the love of Jesus with you and entrusted that faith to you? You might think of those people. It might be a family member, it might be a friend, it might be a youth group leader or a kids meet leader or a pastor or a scripture teacher. It could be any one of those people that they are the ones that had this dynamic faith that passed that faith along to you and you believed. But now the pattern is, now that you've received it, who are you going to pass that faith along to? Who are those around you that you can share the gospel with? And there's lots of opportunities to do that and lots of ways to do that. You can be involved in kids ministry and youth ministry and scripture teaching. You can start a Bible study at your workplace. You can pass that legacy along to your own kids. But this is the pattern, that this good news of Jesus is not meant to be kept to ourselves. Just like someone has passed it along to us and we have believed and come into the knowledge of Jesus, we too are commissioned to do the same thing, to pass along to others, who will pass it along to others, who will pass it along to others. And so the challenge for you and me today, as we reflect on these 2 chapters in 2 Timothy, is exactly that: to be reminded of those who have passed the faith on to us, and then to pray and to seek opportunities of how we can pass that same faith on to others. That's all I got to say. We'll see you later. Bye.